Friday, the New Year's Eve, to do a bit of a roundup of all the things we've got up to this year, and we thought might as well jump on the bandwagon as well and bring you along for a day with us. So we are starting off in the barn, in the dark, because it's not sunrise for half an hour? At least half an hour, even though it's 8:30 in the morning. But the animals are hungry and they get fed first before us, so let's go feed everybody. Chickens first. All of their feed is locked in a cupboard because we had a problem with rats, which is irritating. Here they are. In you go, guys. Out the way. Out the way. In. No, it's not working. We have these guys, grown-ups, and one for the little ones as well. So supervised feeds now because the rats are a pain, so we can't leave feeders down. So everybody gets their food while we're here 3 times a day, no matter what's going on, dark, wet or otherwise. And it's been raining all night, so it's flooding in the barn, which is good. Goats next. Point out the glaringly obvious, we don't have any lights in here. Arwen was a really nice storm, and the people before us had ripped out the side of the barn and took the power with it, so they fixed the barn but not the power. Morning, goaties. Come back and check the waters because Dean's got the torch. We're waiting eagerly for breakfast. Let's go get them some food. Again, more rat reinforcements. 2-man job to get breakfast. They get into everything. We had the fun on Boxing Day of restacking all of our hay and straw to get rid of all the rats that were hiding in it. Unfortunately, not all of them had died. Never mind. Okay, goats. Duncan. Daisy. Duncan will steal Daisy's food. He's a greedy piglet. And Daisy's not so cuddly. Now we just wait till everyone's had their breakfast. Go check waters. Check the flooding's not too bad. Believe it or not, we did clean them out last night, and this is the mess they've made by this morning. Morning. Some hay, always all over the floor. They like to stand in it and chuck it everywhere. Breakfast is kind of done for now. Okay, while the chickens are finishing off their breakfast, I go and have a quick check for eggs. So they're staying in at the minute. It's been really horrible weather and we let them out to free range, but they generally just come back in the barn and they've laid eggs. 1 and another one. Get the steps because we can't reach that one. We've had a bit of a rejig of their run to try and get these little chicks to come out. Say, hanging out in their nursery pen, and one of them's worked out how to get onto the sides and those birds, but we're working on it. No, I lied, we had 3 eggs this morning. Gonna go pop them in a box. We are keeping everything in a cupboard for the rats, even the eggs. They ate all of our egg boxes. They're not very popular around here. And the chickens are under house arrest in their run today because on day after Boxing Day, one of our very intelligent chickens decided to go down our nice new haystack, thinking she'd go lay an egg, which is where they love to lay the eggs, is up on here in a really awkward spot. Just about where that grey board is, she fell down the back, but we did not know that she'd done that, so poor Dean, all on his own, was looking for a chicken. Yeah, downstacked again. So for now, the chickens are staying in the run. And they are working out where their nest boxes are up the side, which they always used to use, so we're guessing it's probably to do with the rats. I think we'll get them settled back down again. Hopefully they'll feel a little bit better about where they live and settle back in again. So what we're learning is that every day here is different. We don't really have a routine. The animals give us a bit of a routine, but other than that, everything, because we've got so much to achieve, everything changes all the time. So today we have this great big area behind me, which doing a bad job of filming,
I'm going to try and strim it, which anyone that knows that strimming in the wet is a really bad idea is probably going to think I'm mad. We haven't really got a lot of choice. It's the time of year to get like bare root plants. So we're getting a load of currants, and we've got some raspberry canes that someone's given us that we could do to get in the ground. And then up the hill behind me, we're going to strim another large area, which is about 30 by 15 metres, something like that. It's massive. We've got 72 juniper trees coming as well. So you can guess what we're going to do with them eventually, but you'll see. We're hoping they grow. Lots of people have tried it, mixed success. They're meant to grow quite well up here, but we will see. So that's going to be my challenge for this morning. And then Dean, bless him, has got our trusty Land Rover, and she is there. She needs her exhaust fixed. So I'm going to mess about in the grass and get really, really wet, probably really, really angry. And Dean's going to mess about underneath the Land Rover, probably get really, really wet and really, really angry. And then at some point, we'll give up. No, we won't give up. We're just going to try our hardest to get the job done this morning and then see where we go from there.
So as we've mentioned earlier on in the video, the barn's getting quite wet. This is where the flooding is coming from. What I've tried to do as best as possible is protect it using these bits of wood and stone and things to try and just cover the holes and to slow the water down, so hopefully it'll soak away before it gets into the barn. Not what we'd planned today, but a job done nevertheless.
Surprisingly, and despite some water-related drama, we actually finished the jobs this morning. Morag sat keeping warm while her exhaust sets, and the patch is all ready for the red currants to go in. Strimming actually finished. So we are going to crack on with cleaning out the animals. As always, they come first, so they're going to get their lunches and a nice clean out as they do every day. Okay, so because the goats are in all the time, winter, it's not very nice for them. We try and make things as interesting as possible. So today Dean is giving them an enormous log from a tree that we have to have taken down. Obviously we've planted lots of trees, but this one has to go. And the goats love stuff to climb on and play with. As you can see, they've got a tyre, a balance bridge, they've got little beds everywhere, and they love climbing around on their house, which is getting a bit wobbly, I'm not going to lie. But they enjoy themselves and keeps it a bit more interesting for them when they're in the winter.
So, good old technology failure here. Who doesn't love a microphone that decides not to work? So, I talked a lot about all sorts while I was cleaning out, but basically, cleaning out, obviously important. Keep your goats healthy. We also spent some time yesterday grooming them, trimming their hooves. That's really, really important. We need to keep an eye on them all the time, and they're growing really well, and they actually did really, really well with it. It's just not an easy thing to film, so we didn't bother. We've also put a nice lick down on the floor for them, which gives them a few more nutrients and some vitamins and minerals and things that they're maybe not getting so much while they're inside. Like we said, they're inside for the winter. They wouldn't fancy the cold outside at the minute, and we're getting the paddock ready for them for as soon as it's nice and warm. Chickens next. They make a lot of mess. It's extra wet in here today, so it's good, but at least now we know why. Probably should have noticed that they flooded there before. Spoiler alert, we probably won't put the other polytunnel where the enormous amount of flood water is going, but at least we found out. So chickens get cleaned out every day as well. We don't want to fruit for that. There's a lot of feed in there. Okay, so that's us fed and watered and warmed up a little bit because it's pretty cold and wet out this morning. And we've decided that as we've got a bit of an opportunity while there's been a lot of water overnight, that we're going to go and investigate something that we're kind of excited for. We really, really, really want to put a duck pond in. And we've had this crazy idea for ages that a low point in our field would be really good. And as there's a lot of water everywhere, we're going to see if it's wet enough. It might help. It might be a bit of a natural pond, save us a lot of work. Or it might be it's not going to work at all, so let's go and investigate. Okay, so as you see, we're walking down the hill. The field here naturally sort of drops in this area, and then it comes right off down here, which is where we're headed. So there is a borehole here, but no one's using it. It's just a concrete lid, basically. So we'd have to avoid that. But there's already reeds and things here, which is why we thought maybe it would be good for a pond. So you can see it's really, really low. So hopefully it's really, really wet. But it's probably the firmest field I've walked on this morning, which is a little bit worrying. Ironically, it's a lot squidgier up the back paddock, higher up a hill. It's surprisingly not squelchy. Okay, there's a lot of reeds. You can see these here. That's the borehole for us, and then there's another one for next door. But like I say, no one's actually using them. You can hear running water. Oh, it's squidgy here. Well, that's quite wet. I think that is just running down the side of the field. He's got longer legs than me. I'm not going to try and get over the fence. But yeah, that's not on our side though, so that's not very helpful. Could be encouraged, maybe. But it's not nearly as wet down here as I thought it would be. Which is really annoying because, I don't know, this area is quite squidgy. You can quite wet. So if we dug down a bit, we might be able to manage a little pond, or not so little, all the way around me. Then I can get some ducks. Okay, so we've had a bit of a recce around, and we've got some ideas how we're going to sort the drainage out, put the pond in at the same time, which is going to take quite a while to be fair, but we need to do it, the polytunnel mess and the barn mess, which is really, really, really wet on the floor. So we're going to sweep all of that out as well, but it will help if we can get water going in the right direction rather than the wrong direction. So we've got one last job to do, which is the bait boxes for the rats. I didn't want to poison rats, so don't shoot me. I didn't really want to do it at all, and I really didn't like the idea of poisoning my animals, but they're eating all of our hay, destroying all of our things, and eating all of the food, and just generally being a nightmare. So I caved, and we have bait boxes now, and it does seem to be working, but it's not my favourite job, so let's get it done. So we're really careful, everything's locked away, proper bait boxes. We're not putting things down on the ground where any animal could get it. And actually, that does go to show, these have been empty every time I've checked them recently. And we found 10 dead rats while we were sorting out the hay and the straw, which was horrible. But it also means it's done what we needed it to do. That's needing a bit of a top up. So I always wear gloves. It's not very nice stuff, and it's obviously very, very poisonous, which is the whole point. I always make sure I go and wash my hands as well afterwards, and I always work away from the animals and over the boxes, and I don't go and put them back with my gloves on. Like going around touching everything when I've covered myself in poison seems like a really bad idea. Maybe I'm overly cautious, but it doesn't seem worth it to me. And yeah, that's that really. Hopefully it will keep the rats out, stop them from destroying things, which is really frustrating, and stop them from scaring the heck out of me when I go and feed the chickens, because that's not been a lot of fun. Yeah, not maybe the route I wanted to take, but learning the hard way, sometimes you don't get to. And that's another one that's all full of bait, so I think we are making progress. We also keep all the bait in a box, clipped away and safe, and no little people come in here ever.
Right, yeah.
Well, that's the end of our day and the end of our year, and what a year it has been. We hope we've managed to share as much as we can of what we've been up to with everybody, and hopefully we'll share quite a bit more next year.
Plenty more coming in the future.
That seems reasonable. So we're off to go and enjoy ourselves. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
Cheers.